Real quick, I hope this is going to go by quick. I just want to share these 3 videos. It's been on my mind. Fair Use Act, okay, educational purposes only. I just want to share this with an audience that I don't know if you guys know this stuff is out there. Check this out first.
Such term does not include this. Hey, I want to show you something that is written into the U.S. Code of Law that basically states in the NAGPRA section of the law, Title 25, Chapter 22, Section 3001, subsection 8, quote, museum means any institution or state or local government agency, including any institution of higher learning that receives federal funds and has possession of or control over Native American cultural items. Such term does not include the Smithsonian Institution or any other federal agency. So they specifically said in the law that the Smithsonian doesn't count as a museum, because all museums that receive federal funding have to abide by NAGPRA law. Now, this is how the Smithsonian is able to get away with all of the things that it does. And it's just absolutely ridiculous. And the way that the NAGPRA laws are written, even as is a problem, because they only recognize tribes that they consider Native American and as having rights to requesting repatriation. So this is how they're, able to get away with this. But like I said, they only allow certain tribes to ask for repatriation, and they don't have anything in here about scientific study. Now, there are some handbooks for the government agencies, and that's questionable as well, because the discretion is left to the agency to decide whether you're qualified to request study or not, which basically means you have to be an esteemed PhD, even if you have a master's, which I did. They tried to say I wasn't qualified enough. So these NAGPRA laws have to be rewritten, and there has to be some pressure put on it, and we have to think of some different ways to get these Lovelock cave mummies tested and other similar finds.
Doesn't that tick you off though? Because it was a Moore that also mentioned this in one of his videos that the Moors know that the Smithsonian Institute, certain Moors, not all of them obviously, but they know the Smithsonian Institute is, when they find stuff that proves that the Negro inhabited this land, in the earlier time periods, they take that stuff out to the oceans and they'll just dump it out there, never to be found again. And I just thought that it was I believe I was listening to a seer, the Duke of Tears, and he was explaining that he knows that the Smithsonian does that, and now you see why they can do that. And you think about it, right? Isn't it the Smithsonian the first one called out there to when they find stuff in the Grand Canyon and they empty it out? I remember when I first listened to that stuff about the mummies and the Egyptian and the Buddha statues found there. The Smithsonian was called out there, and when they went back to go check it again after the Smithsonian, it was called out. All this stuff was gone. So, now this was another one, because I really get sick and tired and fed up on how these European Americans get so hung up on a flag. It's just the whole thing just doesn't set right in my stomach at all. Because I just look at the flag as something material. I really do. I really don't look at the flag as something spectacular or glorious or any of that stuff. It's just an animal. Their natural grown hair. Woolly hair, think about it. They ridicule us for having woolly hair, nappy hair, and all that stuff, but they'll take that animal's hair, they'll have it sewn down to where they can make a flag out of it and worship it. Where's the, isn't that something? In plastic, obviously. So, but check this out, right?
It's a civil flag. The old Stars and Stripes, the flag everybody knows, is the military flag. This is the civil flag. the peacetime flag, the flag that should appear everywhere that isn't a military installation. But before 1940, no U.S. flag, civil or military, flew within the 48 states except in federal settings and installations. Only state flags did. Since the 1935 Institution of Social Security and the Buck Act of 1940, by clever legal maneuvers, the feds have entirely circumvented the U.S. Constitution and have overlaid federal territorial jurisdiction on the sovereign states, bringing them under the Admiralty military jurisdiction of law merchant, the Uniform Commercial Code, and the law of creditors and debtors. Since then, so since 1940, the U.S. military flag appears besides or in place of the state flags in nearly all locations within the states. All of the state courts and even the municipal ones now openly display it. In the last half century, they have more openly declared the military admiralty law jurisdiction, with the addition of the gold fringe on the flag, the military flag of the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces. Such has been the path that has brought us under the law of the military flag. This should have raised serious questions from many citizens long ago, but we've been educated to listen and believe what we are told, not to ask questions or to think for ourselves and search for the truth. Again here, this is the civil flag. It says, through usage and custom, horizontal stripes have become adopted for use over military posts, and vertical stripes, like this, adopted for use over civilian establishments. The civil flag, intended for peacetime usage in custom house civilian settings, had vertical stripes with blue stars on a white field. By the law of the flag, this design denoted civil jurisdiction under the Constitution and common law, as opposed to military jurisdiction under Admiralty military law, which, Old Glory, that's what that is.
And that to me, right, that to me also makes me question, why do they always make military movies every year, coming out with all that dogs and stuff they send over, bomb dogs and crap they come out with all the time. It's sickening. And these people love it. They eat it up. I'm proud to be an American, sing it loud and proud and all that stuff. And they don't even know the flag that they're saluting. It just shows that they're property, of the United States, that they're militarized. It's sickening to watch them so zombified and then, stomp on my flag and, want to kick your ass over stuff like that. Or what was it? I seen one lady post on Facebook, how does she say that? If someone stomps on the American flag or burns it, they should get cut off of food stamps, and it shows two sisters standing on it. Well, excuse me. Who's to say they're on food stamps? Because the way they were dressed, they looked like they were well off, if you ask me. If you ever get to see that post, I can't find it, but if you ever do, and then just the arrogance and the stupidity. Look at Kentucky. Look up the number of Kentucky. What was it? 95% of the people living in Kentucky are Republicans, right? 93% of them that live in the state are Caucasians. and what was it? 80-something% of the people living there are on welfare. And that's just one state. Oh, and you gotta love how the History Channel throws in when they're giving those trivia questions. What state, grows the most amount of marijuana? I'm sitting here guessing Florida, California. No, it's got to be Texas. No. Number one state that grows the most amount of marijuana each year is Kentucky. I hate commercials. I don't want to buy anything you're selling anyways.
A lot of people have speculated that these cell phone towers, these Gwen towers, these ELF towers, these towers that are absolutely everywhere. And I mean everywhere. They're disguised as trees. They're strapped onto smokestacks. They're all over every single solitary church. And again, they are everywhere. If these are cell phone towers, then why are there so many in a row? Why is it that if you triangulate yourself between cell phone towers, your service doesn't improve? Because these aren't exactly what people think they are whatsoever at all. Now, let me ask you, if we have all these satellites, I mean, what's the current count? 25, 27,000 according to NASA, according to the powers that be. We have satellites absolutely everywhere. Why is it that none of these dishes, none of these transceivers are pointing up? They're all pointing out. All of them. Everywhere. That's a fact. Why is it that everyone had to switch from their antenna televisions to the cable boxes, and then why was there a forced swap over to digital? You see what I'm saying? It's because these are weapons. Look at every single invention we've ever brought into our homes that's ever been presented to us. Did it improve anything?
This is a great video.
Because if it did, the country wouldn't be in the state that it's in. The world wouldn't be in the state that it's in. The fact that these things, I mean, look at this. They are saturating the United States, especially my side of the country. And I think we found the reason for it, and it's pretty straightforward. This is a patent right here for nervous system manipulation by electromagnetic fields from monitors. Now, what does that mean? It means just what it sounds like. Here's a few diagrams from the patent. Do you see this? Does it make any sense now why they need everyone to have the highest resolution possible flat screen in their home? Why is it that that's all a rage? Why is it that they have gone through great pains in keeping people sitting in front of their televisions, laptops, computers, and cell phones? Because every single solitary one of those devices, first of all, is a scrying mirror. Now, what is a scrying mirror? If you follow my channel, you probably have a really good idea. It's quite similar and along the lines of a crystal ball, except it's a black mirror that's used to conjure otherworldly entities, things from other dimensions, things that you're not supposed to communicate with. And yet, that's exactly what we're doing every single time we turn on one of our devices. Does it look familiar? Dream time. Does it look familiar? Do you see any resemblance? Because it's exactly what they are.
And I can't find the video, but I remember it was one of the videos from this guy from over in Afghanistan, how they were explaining that they don't want their children to have phones or Wi-Fi, you know, and stuff like that. And they were talking about the dangers that they found in Wi-Fi and what it does to the mind of people. And what was it? The phones, how what is it? I can't think of the name of it. That's always radiating off of it, and that's why if you keep it near your breast, if you're a woman, your chances of cancer are rising rapidly. If a man keeps it in his pocket and near his groin, the chances of his sperm count are lower, are going to be lowered. Oh man, it was that I was thinking about. And there's a movie. I was watching a movie. When I was in the house I grew up in, we weren't allowed to watch movies, even if they said PG-13. My adopted parents said that really meant PG-17 because back in the day that's the age limit for things. So when I turned 18, I was allowed to start watching movies that were rated PG-13. So I went through this spree where I was trying to catch up on everything I'd ever heard about Scorpion King and all that stuff. And I got to the point where I was watching this one movie, and I can't remember the girl's name. I've seen her in some TV shows now. I'm not good on actors and actresses and stuff like that, but she's starring in a movie where electronic devices via of the internet that are connected to internet or Wi-Fi, they were drawing through spirits, demonic spirits that would possess people, and these people would become zombified and then eventually get grafted into buildings. Like these people would get connected to the wall, and then they would, just turn into a black spot that looked like mold on the wall and die. The only way that they kept the spirits out was getting rid of all the electronic devices and then putting red masking tape or painting tape around any entranceway that allowed any light in from outside. And basically, the star of the movie, the way she avoided getting zombified by these wicked spirits, well, she eventually had to leave the city and go out into the country where there were no cell towers, because they found out the phones triangulate, and all this stuff, and they were getting, and the spirits could just reappear anywhere they wanted to and attack these people. So that's how this, at the end of it, they got away from it. They had to leave these major cities and go out into the middle of the country where there were no towers, there were no cell phones, there were no computers, no TVs, no Wi-Fi, no nothing. So when I was watching this man's video, that's what's going through the back of my head the whole entire time. And then I'm like, I know you're probably sick and tired of hearing me say this, but I remember when that guy said that the Jews, they always put this stuff in these movies to warn you, because they say that Leviathan, or whatever you want to call it, is a just God, and he always gives you a fair chance. It's up to you to believe what you're seeing or not, or to accept it. And I know that sounds ridiculous. I know it sounds crazy, but I'm saying, what if it's absolutely true? You know what I mean? Just thought about it. But check out this guy's videos. He does other work. I've got some books coming where I can read some pages. I was looking at some other stuff where I quit using so many people's videos here. I just thought this stuff was interesting. I have it playing in the background as I'm reading. So, anyways, take care, everyone. Oh, I haven't been able to find the article, but I've been wanting to speak on this. There's a guy that's on YouTube here that's, he's. I really think he's one of those white nationalists. He just won't come out and say it. But the reason I think so is at times where they start talking about the fault of the country and things that have gone wrong, and he'll start talking, Obama did this and Obama did that, and it's like, wait a minute, this stuff was going on during George Bush. This stuff was going on during Bill Clinton, Ronald Reagan. I can go on and on, but it's always Obama this, Obama that. Like he's always talking about Africa and South Africa and what's going on, about the whites getting killed there, and how they say it's a purge that's going on, and how here in America they should the whites should arm themselves here and get ready for the same thing, so they can fight back or be the first ones so they don't get attacked, stuff like that. I just keep my ear to the ground and stuff like that just to know what the other side is saying, So, but he's been repeating this over and over. It's almost sickening. Like I want to throw up like a dog, because he won't stop this talk about the 4th of July. The 4th of July, he says, stay 200 miles away from every major city, because the blacks that are involved in Black Lives Matter are going to riot like they did. What's the thing called during the Baltimore riot and stuff like that. And of course he says, this is all because of George Soros and stuff like that. And he finds those kind of stuff. I looked for the article so I could read it myself. I have not been able to find it, but I'm just saying, be careful. If it is true, be careful. Keep your children away from this stuff so they don't get caught up, because you read the comment sections of this guy's videos, and that's why I think he's a part of it, because he just doesn't deny or rebuke these people for the way they talk. But I'll drop it. His show is called The Common Sense Show here on YouTube, so just watch for it, okay? I just don't want to give him any airtime on this channel. Anyways, everyone take care. Like I said, I'll be back, and I'm going to have some stuff to read from. Take care, everyone.